He's just a very, very sweet, gentle giant. Not a great spatial awareness. He'll knock you over or tread on you quite frequently. When he treads on your toe, it hurts. He is just a really sweet, gentle giant. There's absolutely no malice to him, and he loves his work. But he sort of loves anything. He likes to do something different. He likes to go on the gallops. And Lily's done plenty of flat work with him too to get a bit of strength to it, because there's a massive old frame to hold together there. He's quite lazy. He's not a speed horse. His point is grinding it out. So I think when you know that he's really ready to go is when he actually starts to pick up the bridle when something comes behind him. Because when he's untuned, when you start getting him going, he's very laid back.
Going this way, bud.
Physically, he's a giant. When he won at Devon, they asked me if they could do a quiz to their members on how big Mr Vango is. Big problem is he's bigger than my stick. Obviously, the bigger they are, the more care one has to take to keep them sound. And everything very symmetric and balanced, so you don't put any pressure through one of those great big limbs. But no, I think his strength is his stamina. Right, he's going to jump those, so we're just going to go on round.
Good boy. Oh, Daniel!
It wants to be pretty arduous ground because stamina is his thing. He needs to get into that relentless gallop that just stops the others being able to quicken, really. I think on that ground he is extraordinary. He just ploughs on. The others are sort of struggling through it, and he can just go a bit faster even. He just ploughs on and they can't keep up. There are a few slightly sharper bends at Chepstow, but he's very well balanced for a big horse. I don't think there's any reason why it won't suit him, because it is a course that stamina is important. Going early. Okay, on you go. Any big win is always wonderful. And it would be incredible to be able to do what Mark wanted, which was to keep the legacy going and show what we can do. No biting. Mark told him that if he won the Gold Cup, he could bite whoever he liked. The whole thing was so stressful. I remember snapshots, but I don't remember the race at all. I've obviously seen it a lot of times since. He has a pin in every leg. Because he's got, I think his back legs were his power and his fragility, because they're particularly long. But that season, if you remember, he wasn't allowed to run at Plumpton. It meant that he ran at Newbury next time and he won. So we went to Kempton to the Corto Star and he absolutely annihilated them, and that was when we started to think that he might be really good. And then he won at Newbury and Aidan Coleman said, as we were walking in, he said, "That'll win the Gold Cup." And that just gave Mark and I a little bit more confidence. As you know, everybody said we were mad for running him in the Gold Cup, but he'd already had 2 stress fractures. So it was a sort of no-brainer. If he'd won the Sun Lance and he'd gone lame, you'd have thought, why didn't we? And if he got beat, he got beat. You were very clever, but he can't read the newspapers. He didn't know what he was running in. And he beat millions and millions of pounds worth of horses behind him, which was very nice, because he was just a little funny-looking thing, bred from a 2-grand mare. So it was just, that was lovely. Sadly, Dad was no longer there but we hope he was looking down. He lets himself out of his box and wanders around the yard. I think you may have seen it on social media, talking to the other horses. I'm hoping and praying that he's giving them some good advice. He's probably telling them they're useless. Very sweet, but he is the king. He's completely clear that he is the king. I always say he was the A.P. McCoy of the horse world. His focus was complete. He just wanted to win, just full stop. Come on, get cold. Well, I think we've sort of proved that it works in all the, relatively cheap horses that we've managed to make into top-class horses. And my children have been brought up with the ethic that Mark and I very much had, which is horses come first. I think we were a sort of totally symbiotic partnership. We did everything together for probably nearly 40 years, I should think. So how hard is it going to be to do it without Mark? Well, hard because I miss him desperately, but not hard because I know exactly how we've always done it and what he'd say. I probably was the bossy one, I should think. Have to admit that. But I think we sort of worked away together just very happily, and we did everything together. That's what's been so absolutely horrifically hard since he got cancer, poor fellow. It was horrible because he was the love of my life. He was very cheered by Mr Vango's win at Exeter because his whole thing is, I want you to go on. And he knew that our numbers had dwindled because I think after the Gold Cup we'd had a lot of useless horses. But then also he'd been ill and I'd been concentrating on him. And okay, our focus was always still the horses, but our focus hadn't been trying to keep numbers up. And so suddenly, you've got none. So he was very much, in fact, it was his idea for me to set up the Mark Bradstock Racing Club. He said, if there is any goodwill over me, let's milk it. And I think it's how Mark would like, well, it was how he wanted to be remembered. It was very much his idea. And he was desperately keen that I keep going so I could hand over to Lily. I couldn't do it without her, her work ethic is second to none. She's very good and she's incredibly cheap. She's a very, very cheap employee, and no, she's an incredible employee. Obviously, your daughter, the danger of employing your daughter is that they can answer back. But nobody works as hard as Lily. You wouldn't have an employee who worked as hard as Lily. And because she does genuinely care. She takes our whole ethic of the horse's comfort and happiness comes first to a whole new level, because she will be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and in the yard all day and working all day.
Smugglers Haven, Lily Bradstock will be enjoying this. She's easing down on the run-in, looking at the big screen because she's in splendid isolation. Wins at a canter, makes all. Second winner for Lily.
She's ridden under chase winning for me under rules, but that was the first time in ordinary race, so that was very nice. It was slightly emotional because I know that Mark would have really loved it. He loved watching her ride, and she has an incredible relationship with horses. She had a very bad injury as a child, and in Great Ormond Street they didn't think she'd ever walk again. I'm incredibly proud that she came back from this horrible injury. She got kicked in the groin and damaged a nerve, and that was a really long-winded, bad, painful thing. So just to have come back from there was good. And then she's done very well, with quite a lack of self-belief. But she's done very well eventing, point-to-pointing, and just be nice for her to get some more rides now before she takes over. Come in. You get in. Hello. Go on. Mr Vango was, thank God, he was looked after, because he has totally limitless stamina, as he proved in Devon. Make it a thorough test. I mean, we really badly want the rain for Chepstow on 27th of December. And then he'd take a lot of beating. You got very bright. He said, that is rude. Got very good ears. It would be very emotional because obviously it would be without Mark, which would be very sad. Mark was desperately keen that I go on and keep everything going. And it's no different really. We've been together for so many hundreds of years. If I need to consult him, I absolutely know what he'd say. So that would be emotional, but it would be wonderful. It would be really lovely to get another good prize. With us, you know, working very hard as a family, it's still very hard to make ends meet with the amount of horses we've got at the moment, but I think 2025 is what I'd like to have. Eventually tilt the tables and get people to send us some horses. We've won a Hennessy at Cheltenham Gold Cup and a Whitbread, never having bought a horse for anything. They're all 20, 30 grand horses or homebreds out of a cheap mare. So why do people not want their horses here? I don't know. Mystery. But we have to keep trying.